Hi crafty folks, Amy here, and I have another not as intended video to share with you today. Today on this card I'm going to be using this dry brush poinsettia layered stamp set from Altenew, and the reason behind the not as intended type of theme is that I'm going to stretch my supplies and use them in different ways. So we're past Christmas and I'm not ready to start making Christmas cards again for next year, so I'm bound and determined to use this stamp set in a different way. I'm going to create a thank you card today, and I don't want it to be holiday themed. So here I'm showing you the beautiful insert that comes with these Altenew stamps. It kind of shows you some different design ideas and also how to layer up the stamps. And I'm going to use some different gray dye ink pads. I have one from My Favorite Things, this Grout Gray. Unfortunately, I don't think they carry that color anymore, but I wanted to get a variant in gray colors, and I also have this Paradise Found stamp set from Catherine Pooler. But basically I'm trying to think outside of the box and determine how I can use this stamp set so that at the end of the day it doesn't look like a Christmas poinsettia. So I'm just starting off with this bottom layer of the floral. It's kind of hard to see on the screen, but I did stamp it a few times, and I'm starting with the lightest color, and it's a very pale kind of warm gray. It's the Grout Gray from My Favorite Things. And then I start with the next layer, and I'm going to go to the middle shade of gray to kind of stamp that down. And that did great with just one pass of that ink. So then I find the third layer, and this one I have to consult with the insert, because this one was a little bit harder to line up. I wasn't entirely sure. I had to kind of look at it to gauge exactly how that was supposed to go. But I'm coming in with this top layer and also the darkest. So I believe this is the flannel gray, is the darkest of the ones that I've used. So I'm wanting to just create this neutral color with the flower itself, and then I have a different plan to come in for the color. So I'm just trying to line up these little inside pieces. There's two for the stamen of the flower, and I stamp the one first with an ink block and then try and line up the second one again with the Misty. But you'll see it doesn't really matter what I end up doing here. So I'm just kind of using this little, it looks almost like a little brush, like if you were to take a watercolor brush, it's like a little swoosh stamp. And I love when stamp sets include things like that. So I'm going to use that to apply some kind of unexpected color onto the card. So I have this spot collection, and I'm pulling out various different colors. You can tell by my trepidation here, I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do in typical Amy fashion. I'm just winging it. So I'm pulling out some colors, kind of have a rainbow in mind. Not sure if I'm going to use them all, but basically I just start stamping, and I'm kind of turning the stamp. I don't have it in the same direction every time that I use it. I want it to kind of look like it's more organic and maybe more like hand painted. So I don't want it to be uniform and use the stamp in the same direction every time. So I'm kind of alternating how far out off the edge I come, and I'm kind of flipping it around using different ends, kind of working through colors in a somewhat of a rainbow here. Not a complete rainbow, but using quite a few of the colors that I have here. And that gorgeous teal, I only have that used once, so I know I'm going to want to find a way to incorporate more of that gorgeous daydream teal color from Catherine Pooler. So I don't know if you're familiar with these inks, but they are so juicy and just saturated pigment. So I decided to pull out this Concord and Ninth stamp set because I want to use the thank you sentiment. I don't want it to be a Christmas card, so I'm kind of limited in being able to use the sentiments from the poinsettia stamp set. So I get this nice big scripty thank you from the Concord and Ninth stamp set, and decide to stamp that down. And I know I want to do one of the colors, and this is where I decide, yeah, I'm going to use more of that beautiful daydream teal. So again, I'm totally winging it, and honestly, guys, at this point, I'm still like, I don't know if this video is gonna make it to YouTube, because I'm not really feeling this card. But I stick it out, you know. I've spent all this much time already, and you know, it's just paper, right? So I decided to take one of the little flower centers from that Concord 9th stamp set and make it a little bit whimsical and get more of that teal into the layout. So I just kind of lay that in the center of the poinsettia, and this is why the original stamping of the stamen didn't matter so much, because I kind of covered it up with this. Now, I don't know at the end of the day if I would have done that again, but it did give it a little bit of a different whimsy look, so I don't hate it. It's just not my favorite. And here I have some Delicata silver pigment ink. I decided it needed something else, but I wasn't really sure, so I thought, hey, I'm going to make some splatter with this. So I kind of squished that Delicata ink down onto this little acrylic block, and I decided to kind of tape it down and fight with this card base while it really wants to keep popping up on me here. And then I decided I want more splatter, so I just smush it right down onto my glass work mat here, and then just splatter it all over. And you can't really see it, but you'll see it here in a moment when the light hits it. It's just got a subtle little silver splatter, and I feel like it really ties in with the grays on the poinsettia. So this is just a simple and easy single layer card. Easy thank you, plenty of room on the inside to give your thanks to your recipient. But this is just a fun and easy way to use maybe some supplies in a different way and stretch your stash. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up and consider subscribing, and I appreciate you watching. I'll check you next time. Bye.